Hello friends, I'm Jasmine and today we are in Planet Coaster 2. I'm starting a brand new park, and in this very first episode I'm going to build this sprawling parking lot, a park entrance, and the start of the entry plaza. I'm so glad you joined me today. Let's get started. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm playing this game on PlayStation 5, which is what I play most of my games on for this channel. And so far, this park that I'm working on is really just serving as an introduction to Planet Coaster 2. While I am familiar with Planet Coaster 1, I'm still getting used to the game mechanics of this second series in the Planet Coaster gaming franchise. So the pathing system really is what I struggle with a lot. So I'm still just trying to work things out, and I'm using the sandbox park to kind of do that. So I am in the tropical map for this park, and as far as theming goes, I'd really like this park to mostly be a generic park. I want it to mostly have roller coasters in it, and then maybe a small area for a pool or a lazy river. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of brainstorming ideas and layouts. So, so far with this parking lot, all I've done is I've used the asphalt pathing and I've colored it black. This light gray area is I'm planning on using as a backstage area and also a bus pickup area. So this area on this side would be where buses could pick up people, they would pick up people on the way out to the park. So this this parking structure, I did get off of the workshop, and I just modified it a little bit because I wanted it to have more spaces for how large my parking area is. And then all I did was I added in some foliage in the middle of where you see those planters. For the road, I originally was planning on it being 4 lanes, with one side going one way while the other side went the opposite way. But I could not for the life of me figure out the best way to make an arrow sign for the road. So I ended up scrapping the one-way road idea, and I made the road 2 lanes going in opposite directions. This entire parking lot probably took me 2 to 2.5 hours to create. I did not do it in one sitting, and I really had to think hard on how I wanted it to look and what made sense for me and what was achievable for me and my level of building skill. I've seen some really fantastic parking lots on YouTube, and there's some really amazing creators out there, but I really just kind of wanted to do something just on my level and that wasn't like overly complicated and was simple enough but also made sense. So I think the hardest part for me in creating this parking lot was just plopping down all of these individual pieces and making sure everything lined up and it wasn't crooked. This was not easy, but I am super proud of how it turned out. So as I said before, this entire parking area is made of pathing, and once I created the light gray area, all I did was copy it and paste it and move it over to the opposite end of my parking area. And then I also created just a sliver of gray pathing is asphalt. It's still asphalt, and that acts as the walkway for my guests to enter the park. For this parking structure, I'm using some non-gridded wall pieces. I believe these are the plaster wall pieces, and I just colored them a light gray. I'm keeping things pretty simple since I'm not sure exactly what my color scheme is going to be for this theme park. And then I just use the classic red brick on the bottom just to give a little bit of a more distinct look so it's not just a basic square. And then the only other thing I added was a column. I think it was like it's either I believe it's a coaster support beam. I use that as my barrier for the gate. So cars will pull up to that barrier and they pay their ticket or whatever for parking, and then it would theoretically it would go up. So once I built this structure, I realized it was not in the place that I wanted it to be, so I moved it to the other side of my little road that I created, and that was it. So I will probably add a couple more details to it later on, like a door, light fixture. I may have already put a light fixture on it, but just to add a little more detail to it. Right now it's pretty basic, but I just wanted to put it there just to have so I can come back to it later. Now we're going to move on to working on the entrance plaza, and I'm starting that off by using the aquatic corrugated floor pieces to cover up this default pathing that comes with these entrance gates. I have not figured out how to change this default pathing, so if you figured out how to do that, please let me know, because ideally I would like this to match the rest of the plaza. Now I am working on a structure to cover up these entrance gates, and I'm using the aged wood roof as my roof. And you may have noticed in the background that I've already built a welcome center building. I apologize for not having recorded building that. It took me a long time to do it, and I just thought it just was a lot of me fiddling around, and I just didn't think it was worth actually recording. And it also took me several different sits like several different times of me playing this game in order to make that building look decent enough. So it was a lot of fiddling around, but I do apologize for not having that building recorded. So anyway, for this structure is always the hardest thing for me to build starting out a park, because theoretically it's the first thing that guests see when they walk into the park, and it has to be on brand. It's going to be, where you might see the name of the park. And I feel like that's also, in real life, whenever you get past that security checkpoint and you walk through the gates, that's when you get really excited about being at your chosen theme park that you're at. So anyway, so keeping it with this theme and to match my welcome center, I'm using this wooden roof, and I'm also using a wooden wall piece. And then I believe the archways are panel archways, and they are colored a light blue. So my other buildings throughout this park are going to be blue. They're going to be cool colors, and they're going to correspond with this cool toned color scheme. So once I've created this structure, I do add in these kind of roof trims to it, and then I just add in simple lights over each archway, and that was pretty much it. I do add in lettering with the name of the park on the front of this building, and then that's it. Now we're briefly going back to the parking area, and I'm just adding a simple metal fence around it. I decided to cut out me copying and pasting all of that around the entire thing. But maybe you will have noticed that I have colored the asphalt red. So this red part is going to be the bus lane. And then I just added some text to signify that the red lane is for buses only. I added a couple of buses, and that's my parking lot. So now we're heading back to the entry plaza, and I'm going to work a little bit more on this welcome center so you can kind of see how it looks. This really did take me a while to get right, especially with the roof pieces, and just so that it wasn't absolutely crazy. Basically, almost every single piece of this building is its own building, because I had so many different angles on this building. It could not all be on one grid, basically. So I'm adding in some pathing inside the building now, so that I can go ahead and put in my little shops that I want in here. This is going to have the guest information, and then I'm also putting in a Looney Balloons shop in here as well. So I've added in some foliage, and now I'm also placing some lighting, And in these blue archways, there are going to be some vending machines. So I believe I put in just some drink vending machines right here, and I fiddle around with the path to get to the vending machines. Pathing is just so far, pathing has just been the biggest headache for me in this game. So you'll see me fiddling around with that. I also put in these barriers because we have so much pathing for this building. I don't want the guests to walk through the walls because they definitely will. I really hope they fix that as part of an update, because to me it doesn't make any sense that the guests would be able to walk through walls. So I'm just going to make a little bit of pathing here, because you do have to have the pathing already created in order to place down your vending machine. So I'm doing that, and then I'll place down my machines. Now I'm going in and I'm adding some windows to my building. These are just the normal windows that come in the game. There's nothing special about them. I did briefly debate trying to make actual see-through windows, and I decided to nix that idea because I just have too much going on with this building. There's just too many like separate buildings from each other, and no, it was just going to be way too much work. So I kept with the normal windows that come in the game, and I think those look totally fine. And then after that, I fiddle around with the back portion. I am making sort of another entrance on the back side, so people will be able to walk through this building. And then I just put in some more foliage around the back side as well. Now, for these other buildings that I have in my plaza, these are buildings that I created in a separate sandbox, and I apologize for not having recorded that either. I didn't think that they were buildings that I was going to use for this park, but I thought they really worked well with my color palette, and I already had created them, so I decided to put them in the park. But this building just houses a restroom and then a Gelato Brothers shop, and the middle building, the middle portion of that building says vending. I'm using that. I'm technically going to use that facade as a security office for our guests. So now I'm putting in my little shops inside my welcome center, and then I use a non-gridded aquatic piece to act as kind of like a desk for these little shops. And then I think the only other thing I add to this is some lighting, and then also some TV screens on the back wall that are going to have like some little ads for the park, which I think just kind of adds a little something, especially when you like walk into a shop like in a theme park. There's going to be like ads and like music and things of that nature, like that you hear when you're walking in. So I just thought that kind of added a little something to it. I believe that's all that I do for this welcome center. So I'm going to stop talking, and then I'll let you finish watching what I'm doing for this building. So for the final segment of this video, I'm working on creating a ticketing area for the park guests. Theoretically, this would be where people could purchase tickets for the day if they hadn't already done so online. I'd love to eventually add some more details to this building, like a door, some signage, and maybe even a little display for park maps. But for now, I'm keeping things really basic and just creating the initial structure. Just like I did for the parking ticket booth, I'm using brick to line the bottom portion of this building. And I'm using a different colored blue for the walls, but this is still keeping in theme with my overall cool color palette. And I'm still using my wooden wall pieces and a wooden roof. Once this building is done, I copy and paste it over to the other side, and this will allow 2 places for guests to purchase tickets. So the brick is the Breeze brick wall. It's just colored gray. And then the actual little window area is also the Breeze brick wall piece. And for the roof, I spent a lot of time on the roof for some reason. I think in my head I was thinking it was going to look a certain way, and I couldn't figure out the pieces that I needed to use to achieve that. So it takes me a few tries to actually get the roof looking how I want it to look. I guess it's just like, this is just a consequence of not knowing every piece in the game. Like, I just did not know how I wanted this to look, but it turned out fine. I just needed to figure out how I was going to put a roof over this the middle piece that's going inward, the center piece. So once that's done, I do eventually add some lettering. I don't think I recorded that part, or it may be in another video that I'm going to do. So but yeah, I do eventually add some lettering to this that says tickets or ticketing on it. And then I think the very last thing that I do to round out this entry plaza is I put some lettering on our structure that's over the entrance gates with the park name. So this completes the first video for this Sandbox Park series, Palmetto Springs. I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I'm ending the video with just some cinematic views of what we've done today. And in the next video, I'm gonna work on adding some detailing to these buildings, like more scenery, foliage, and interiors. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.